everybody, it's Becky with Flips and Finds. I'm trying to get out of the sun, so I've got this camera real close and trying to hide from the shadows, but I want to talk to you about cracking and peeling veneer today and about the piece I'm working on. This is Jamie's piece, and if you can see, this is a dining table. Has 2 drop leaves, and the only real damage to this table is some cracking and peeling veneer. It's got some minimal damage on top, but there's no other issues of veneer cracking or peeling. And we've already removed a substantial amount of the veneer just by picking it up off by hand. But you've got several options when you've got cracking or peeling veneer. You can use a heat gun, which is what I have here. This is a Drill Master heat gun. Purchased this at Harbor Freight for around $25. Sounds like a hair dryer. And you just actually place that heat gun right on the part that you want to remove, and I put it there probably 3 or 4 minutes, and you might have to go longer depending on how stubborn your veneer wants to be. But at the same time, or even right after you take the heat off, use a putty knife, and this is a metal putty knife. It's got stiff putty knife written on it. I think I got it at Walmart, probably no more than $8–10. But that's the 2 tools you need to remove it with the heat gun method. Another method, say I was going to try to remove the whole top, which I'm not, I would take 2 thick bath towels, soak them with water, lay them across the top of the table, let it sit at least 24 hours, and then you could come in with your putty knife, get up under one of the strips, because the moisture in the water would loosen up the glue in the underneath the veneer sheet, to let you be able to loosen up and take off the veneer in strips. And that's a method I've used before on tables. I know recently in the last 4 or 5 months, a coffee table, and it came up rather quickly. And I might end up trying that, but I don't think I'm gonna have to again, because this is kind of in an awkward spot to do that. And I think I can eventually get this off with some patience, which I'm not that great at, and a heat gun. So that's how we're gonna remove it. Now you can see, again, veneer is a sheet of wood that's usually put over a lower end price-wise piece of wood. This is probably pine, which is what you're seeing, kind of a yellow color coming through. And the veneer has a higher end wood look, like a cherry or mahogany or a maple. And then this has a faux wood grain pattern on it as well. So it was a way probably that started back in the 20s to produce furniture. Cheaper, but give it a high-end look. And I think veneer is still used in some fashion, maybe today, on some furniture, but a lot of times you'll run across it and you'll have damage. So that's why I thought it was a good time to do a video. Now, the way I'm going to combat some of the discoloration in this table, and I don't know if you can see in the far end, I actually did some light sanding on the top to see how sturdy the top was, and took some of the stain off that was on the veneer. So I've got some big discoloration going on there, and then of course over here where I've removed the veneer, and I need to get this table to be all one color. So the way I'm going to accomplish that is I'm going to use the Reticate liquid wood, which I've talked about a lot. This is called, again, liquid wood. You can paint it because it goes on like a paint, and then you can stain it. I've actually put chalk paint on top of it before too, but that's not what we're going to do, of course, in this case. And I'm actually going to use 2 different colors. I'm going to go over the whole table with light wood, let it dry. And you do need to stir it when you get it. If you order it, sometimes not from the company directly, it might be clumpy. And if it sits for a while, it kind of gets clumpy. And it is a little bit runnier than chalk paint. So I would give it a good stir when you first use it, and then, well, really each time you use it. So we'd let the light wood dry, and then I'm going to come back over it with a dark wood, and I'm going to use the wood grain tool. And again, because this actual table has a pattern to it, I'm going to try and emulate that wood grain pattern, and that's a pattern a lot of times you see on oak. So what I'll do is I'll let the first coat dry, paint the second coat over it, of the dark wood. And then don't let that second coat dry. This tool is the wood grain tool, and it has 2 ends. One looks kind of like teeth, and the other one is the actual design of the wood grain. And this particular tool I purchased at Michael's, and they come in various shapes. I know the Retikit sells a different looking one that actually is flatter with the wood grain. But with this actual tool, what you'll do on that second coat is paint it on, and then you'll actually take the tool, the teeth side, run it down all the way from one end to the other, left to right, come back over, start again where you started, yeah, that makes sense. Start, you know, at the very top, run back down again, and you rock it ever so often, and that kind of rounds it off and gives that curvature to it like you see in wood grain. So you do it and rock it again, run it and rock it again. So I'll probably show some video footage or a photo. I know I did a photo a couple weeks ago of how I do that, but if you've been with me for a while, you know I'm famous at doing a lot of faux wood tops. So again, this Retikit is becoming a game changer for me with a lot of furniture. I find that I just don't feel like can withstand staining, and I want to go ahead and paint because I also have that option. And the great thing about this tool is that I'll actually add some texture where if you run your hands over it, you can kind of feel that wood grain. You do have the option to kind of sand it down. Like in this case, you can't feel anything, you can just see it. I wouldn't use, again, anything probably more than a 320 sanding grit, and you don't want to go much higher than that because it might end up taking the second layer off, period. So anyway, I hope that gave y'all some helpful information. I'm going to put all these products on my Amazon influencer page, which is also named Flips and Finds, and I hope y'all have a good day. Bye.